Namaste and welcome. My name is Jean Heilemann. I'm here at the Himalayan Institute with my lovely friend and yoga student, Jen, and we're going to do an invigorating, not too invigorating, but invigorating back bend flow class that's helpful to wake you up in the morning or any time of the day. And the main aspect about this practice is that it will increase your respiratory productivity or a process. So one thing I'll be talking about a lot is that when we inhale, most of us tend to, when we inhale, take in a big inhale and try to grab the air or whatever. Imagine, one of the things I like to think about is that the Divine Mother, or whatever resonates for you, imagine some greater entity has this beautiful vessel of fresh sacred air, and he or she is pouring that air into you. So instead of trying to get your inhale, soften even in back bends and receive the inhale. And when you do that with a practice, I didn't even finish inhaling, but I didn't want to waste your time. But when we keep doing it that way, it increases our range of respiration inside our body. So let's try it, shall we? Okay. So we're going to start with what I call travel the blanket. So the blanket is rolled, and we basically have a regular Mexican blanket, and I've rolled it as tightly as possible. It's going to start where Jen's, probably at the base of the shoulder blade, sort of what I will sometimes call the bra strap. Some people, that annoys them to hear that, but just the bottom tip. So Jen's going to lay her shoulder blades on that, and your arms can actually go over the blanket. And so the idea is to get the head onto the floor. So scooch that way just a little bit more. Good. Okay, nice. Now, from here, lengthening through the heels. She's already in a back bend, and it's not, hopefully, too shocking. And now from here, just breathe. And as I mentioned, Jen, instead of grabbing the air, inhale, let the air flow in. And right now, exhale through the legs, out through the feet, so that this actually helps lengthen through the lower back. And what I'd like is if you can inhale into that area where the blanket is pressing. And the best that you can, I'm going to do this to Jen, imagine that I'm at your home doing this with you as well, is I'm going to keep her ribs contained. So now the inhale is going to go into the back of her body and expand into the back. We breathe in a 360-degree circumference. Good. All right, because of time, bend your knees, Jen, and bring your feet flat. And so hold on to the blanket and lifting your hips, creep it down about an inch or maybe a half inch. Yep, right there is good. And now elongate through the legs, arms out to the side. And now breathe into that space where the blanket is. Keeping the front ribs contained, not gripped, not forced down, but just contained so that the breath can go into the sides of the body, into the middle of the back. Yeah, and as you exhale, reach through the legs, and again, that takes you out of any compression in the lower back. And so a lot of us, when we start our practice, if you've been sleeping or if you've been driving or if you've been at your desk all day, we tend to be very slumped. And so what's going on is the spine it's not in alignment. So this actually starts to bring some life and some vigor to the spine, which can help us through our practice. Okay, go ahead, bend your knees, feet flat. Let's creep down just about another half inch or so. Good enough. And now send the flesh of the bum to the heels. And now even here, keep your front ribs contained and move your breath into that area where the blanket is pressing. And as you exhale, extend through the legs. Does it feel good? It's fun. I love this. This can really help. And any of us, if you have any disc issues, this would not be the best thing to do. If you have mostly muscle issues, then this is really, really good to do. Good. From here, bending your knees, feet flat. So the last spot will be the sacrum, the flat part right above the crack of your bum. Pardon the graphics, but that's where it is. And she's reaching through the heels. And again, keeping the front ribs contained so that the breath can go into the sides and into the back. So she's starting to introduce to her body, we can breathe more than just here. And she's not grabbing the breath. She's not forcing anything. She's allowing breath to flow in. And the further down it flows, the more the diaphragm works. It can actually help stimulate the lower organs as well. Good. Good. So at the end of this exhale, let's bend the knees. So pressing the feet down. Let's slide the blanket out and let's keep the feet as wide as your hips. And now with the arms by your side, I call this a floating bridge. It's just dynamic Setu Bandha, just a few rounds. So pressing the heels down on an inhale, lead with the tailbone, hips and ribs. Arms come over the head. And as you exhale, roll down one bone at a time, lengthening the flesh of the bum to the heels. Good. Let's do this 3 more times on your own. Jen is very agile. She's been practicing for a really long time, so she's going, at a lovely pace. If your back is kind of achy, don't go so far right away. I have days where my back gets very, very achy, so I won't go so far. And it's just as fine. We all know our yoga practice is not an accomplishment. But instead of an accomplishment, it's more of a falling in love with the practice and letting the range of our practice inform us every day. And if we don't go so far one day, that's fine. Because the next day can be different. Good. When you're done, Jen, with those 3 more, you'll bring both knees into the chest. Good. From here, taking the arms out to the side. On an exhale, let your knees go to the left and you look to the right. Nice, easy twist. And now as she inhales, she's letting breath flow in. On an exhale, roll the left waistline toward the ceiling. Draw the right waistline toward the floor. So that's another note that when we go into twists, and I'm just as guilty, that we tend to push with the arms. And see if your arms can relax and if the twist can actually come from the waistline. And when you do it, in addition to it being a proper twist and safer, you're trimming your waistline. And who doesn't like that a little bit? Inhale, knees come center. Exhale, knees all the way over to the right. And you look to the left. Good. Now as we inhale, breath is pouring in. Her spine is elongating, literally, and she might actively be visualizing that and encouraging it. And as she exhales, she invites the left waistline to draw down and the right waistline to roll toward the ceiling. And everything else, the arms, the legs, everything else just kind of comes into play. Great. Inhaling when you're ready, Jen. Left arm comes all the way up and over to the right side. Keep rolling over, and with your knees as well. Roll all the way over, pressing your hands down. Let's come up onto the hands and knees, and you'll face towards me. Hello. So with the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, just moving the spine a bit. Inhaling, pull your chest through and lift your heart. Exhale, lift your belly, pressing the hands down, pressing down with the shins. So just a little bit more gentle movement through the spine. Good. And then inhaling, come to center. Neutral with the spine. Walk your hands forward about 3 inches. Curling the toes under, lift the hips, come into downward facing dog. Good. Pressing into the index fingers and thumbs. Especially, press into all the fingers, especially index finger and thumb. And just go ahead and alternate heel to heel. You can pedal the legs, whatever your body needs at this time in your practice. I love to move my hips side to side, rolling to the outer edges of the feet. That is so tasty to me, and it gets into the side hips, the side body. Some people like to do other things. It's all good. Good. Alrighty. Inhale when you're ready, Jen. Come into plank. Shoulders right on top of the hands. So for the first, what I'll call these are vinyasas. For the first vinyasa, I'm going to come in front of you. On an exhale, let your knees come to the floor. And then elbows graze by the ribs. Let your chest and chin come to the floor. Keep the shoulder heads lifted if you can. Inhaling, draw the chest through. Drag the hands, elbows, and legs back. Feet stay on the floor. And now let breath pour into the lungs, into the upper chest. Exhale, belly draws into the spine and come all the way back into downward facing dog. So those of us who are not feeling so strong, if we're practicing on a carpet, chaturanga would not be a good idea, a thick carpet. So this would be a lovely, safer alternative. Inhale, come into plank. So some of us will do knees, chest, chin. This time, Jen, shift forward and take, as you exhale, the slowest time to come onto the belly. Remember your books. Good girl. That's an inside joke. From here, coming all the way down, take your hands behind you, interlacing fingers. Tops of the feet press down. Pivot the pelvis into the floor. And on an inhale, lengthen the forehead, nose, shoulders, and chest. So she's not going up. She's going forward. So if anything, she might drop down a half inch. And now with each inhale, she's going to invite, go with me, there it is. She's going to invite the breath to pour into the upper chest. And as you exhale, pressing the feet down, reach the legs back. Each inhale, let the rib cage move forward. So sip in a bit more breath. How? Let's change the word. Allow more breath. Now from here, exhale, come all the way down. Hands on the floor by the ribs, under your elbows. Inhale, come into upward facing dog. Thighs lifting. Arms elongating, breath pouring into the lungs. Exhale, thighs pull you back, downward facing dog. And then she gets still for a moment, noticing the breath. Okay, let's do a whole vinyasa. Inhale, come into plank. Exhale, shifting forward, chaturanga dandasana. Push the feet away. Inhale, upward facing dog. Legs reach away from you. Inner thighs reach back, downward facing dog. So for this practice, we're not going to be jumping. So we're not going to do the classical A's and the B's. So while that is good to do, sometimes it's nice to give your wrists a break. And we'll still notice if you don't, we'll still heat you up. Inhale, come into plank again. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, sideways lifts. Push the feet away. Inhale, upward facing dog. Breath pouring in. Exhale, thighs pull back. Downward facing dog. Good. All right, so now let's start to add some legs. Inhale, right leg raises. Toes are straight down for this type of practice. And as we do that, that keeps the hips even. On an exhale, step your right foot in between the hands, curling your back toes under. So I call this a high lunge. For some of us, if the floor feels far away, you can use a block underneath each hand. And if you're in a hotel, if you're somewhere where blocks aren't around, you can use a book or two. From here, reaching through the inner back leg, pulling your chest forward. And on an exhale, reach your chest this way. And your palms can come flat. Now let's use that note, outer hip in. With each inhale, pour breath into the lungs. As you exhale, press the right thigh down, the top of the left thigh up. That starts to engage your core. Inhale, breath pours into the lungs. Exhale, top of the right thigh and the right heel go down, top of the left thigh goes up. One more breath like this. I'm aligning her front leg a little bit. So right thigh should always be parallel to the long end of the mat. That's something to help follow. And now from here, Jen, can you slide your blocks aside? And now from here, step back into plank. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, inner thighs, belly pulls you back, downward facing dog. And now get still. That was a hard note for me. Inhale, left leg raises, toes straight down. So if anything, the inner left thigh is leading the action. On an exhale, left foot steps in between the hands, curling the back toes under. This is where Jen will reach for the blocks if she wants them or not. And now we're going to reach back a lot through the right heel as she propels both sides of the body forward. The left leg, the front leg, notice Jen's knee, like many of us, the knee wants to go in. So what we want is that thigh parallel to the long end of the mat. And now as she inhales, she's pouring breath into the lungs, even in between the shoulder blades. On an exhale, top of the left thigh down, top of the right thigh up at the same time. Inhale, breath pours in. On an exhale, top of the left thigh goes down, top of the right thigh goes up, and it actually evens your hips. Good. From here, blocks are set aside. Firming the outer hips right here. See if from your belly center you can evenly slide the left foot back without moving your hips. It's like you're hiding and you don't. Yeah, did you feel that? And now take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. She's having so much fun. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And inner thighs, belly, pull you back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, right leg raises, toes straight down, so the inner thigh is initiating the movement. Exhale, right foot in between the hands. This time, set the back knee onto the floor. Good. Now, in this pose, what we tend to do is dunk a little bit. So what I would like is that we imagine, and I'm going to do that just a little bit, that 100 yoga angels are hanging out, and they are lovingly pressing the shin back. And as they press the shin back, you're trying to drag the left leg forward. So creating that scissoring will take us out of the dunking. And then you draw the lowest part of the belly in and pour the breath into the heart. As you exhale, imagine the breath traveling through the back leg. So keep that scissoring action. It kind of takes the fun away from it all. Sorry. Not really sorry. Good. From here, curl the back toes under. Hands on either side of your front foot. Come into high lunge. Firming the outer hips, plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhaling, upward dog or cobra. Belly pulls you back, downward facing dog. Keep the hands and feet where they are. Inhale, left leg raises. And as you do, look to see that the baby left toe is turning down. That's a good hint. Exhale, left foot in between the hands, setting your back knee onto the floor. Good. And now from here, and I'm going to demonstrate back here so you can see the front version. Fixing your ankle because I can't help myself. Draw the front shin back. So Jen, imagine I am there pressing your left shin back. As the left shin draws back, pull these right toes towards the front. So it creates this scissoring, and you'll feel a lifting at the pelvic floor. That lifting, in essence, is a taste of Mula Bandha. So we're not dunking, and this is where a lot of people will hurt themselves in their practice. So keeping that happen, you still can grow. If anything, we want the lunge to start to propel this upper thoracic spine to rise, so you can pour more breath in there. One more breath from here. Yeah, look at you. Okay, curl your back toes under. Now right thigh goes up, and now slide the left foot back. Exhale, come through the vinyasa, anything you want, within reason. Okay, now let's start to add on a little bit. Inhale, right leg raises, toes are straight down. Exhale, right foot in between the hands, set the back knee onto the floor. Now from here, create the scissoring of the legs. And as you set that scissoring, place the right hand and then the left hand on the right thigh. Pressing the thigh down and using the scissoring, invite the frontal hip bones, that's this stuff, invite them to pull straight up. You've got the scissoring. Okay, if this is a lot, stay here. If it's not a lot, take the left arm up towards the sky. Outer arm rotates in. Use your right hand to take a hold of the left arm, perhaps like that. And now she's going to do the scissoring. So she's drawing this right leg back, dragging the left leg forward. Do that and take your pelvis forward. And she's going to wrap this left waistline towards all the way over. She's turning to the right. Now she's going to bow over to the right. So it's as if she's trying to create a wide-angle turn, and yet there's scissoring in the legs. She's bowing to the right. So she's leaning over a little bit, and she's lengthening. And now huge inhale, and fill that whole left side. And now the darn annoying part of this is draw this back and lift, and there you are. And you're happy in a sick, distorted way. One more breath. Yum, yum. Exhale, come into plank. Okay, I'm changing our vinyasa. So listen. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. And then meet me on the floor, everybody. Inhale, come into bhujangasana. This is a really important pose. It strengthens your spinal muscles. So when we come in, I want you pulling forward, sending the bum away from you. And now next inhale, pour breath into the lungs. Exhale, extend the arms straight back. See if you can stay at that height. Now inhale, pour breath into the lungs. Exhale, lengthen your legs so much they come off the floor. Shalabhasana. Inhaling. So we're making as much space between the upper back and the lower back as possible. Exhale, bend your knees. Take a hold of your feet. Nice, light, and soft. Inhale, pour breath into the lungs. Exhale, thighs lift and legs reach back. This is not about performance. This is about breathing. Inhale, take a breath into the lungs. Exhale, control the release of your legs as you set them back onto the floor and set the hands by your ribs. Now, inhale, upward facing dog. Breath pours in, inner thighs lift. Belly pulls you back, downward facing dog. And now the tricky thing is get still, don't wiggle. Because part of your body is and mind is saying, oh my God, what was that? So stay still and lengthen your breath. And then we have another side. Inhale, left leg raises, baby toe turns down. Good. Exhale, left foot in between the hands, set the back knee onto the floor. So right away, set the scissoring. And now keeping the scissoring, press the left thigh down, both hands come onto the thigh. So this is stage 1. And as the legs are purely scissoring, these frontal hip bones are drawing straight up. This is a note that we really, really want. Keeping that, if it feels okay, take the right arm up. So what we're doing, this helps you get very deep into the psoas. So left hand takes a hold of right forearm. I think it's best to get muscle, not joint. And now she's pulling long. Right away she starts to scissor, creating the wide angle turn and leaning over to the left. And then there's a part in each of us that just wants to dunk in there and get into it. And yet I'm going to challenge you not to. So it's as if I am here pressing the shin, and there's a part of me lovingly lifting the pit of the abdomen. Yes. So the breath has to go into the upper region of the body. Yeah, drink in a bigger, longer inhale, one by one count at least. Yum, yum. And exhale, come into plank. That was nice. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin, and then come to the floor. Inhale, cobra, making space between each vertebrae. Exhale, lengthen through the legs. Inhale, pour breath into the upper chest. Exhale, extend the arms straight back. Now inhale, breathing into the chest. Exhale, lengthen the legs. Take another breath into the upper heart. Exhale, bending the knees. Take a hold of thy feet. Now be soft about this. You don't have to make it perfect. Inhale, pour breath into the heart. Exhale, send the legs back. Your thighs can lift. And what we're basically doing is just pulling your spine long. One more breath. Exhale, control the release of the legs as you set them back down, hands by the ribs. Inhale, upward dog as you allow breath to flow in. Exhale, pull the belly back, downward facing dog, and get still. That's the hard part. And there's more. Inhale, right leg raises, toes straight down. Exhale, right foot in between the hands. And now curl your back toes under. From here, firming the outer hips. Make sure your right thigh is parallel towards the long end of the mat. Inhale, come on up into crescent pose. Good. Now, same idea as that lower lunge. So what we need to do, let's bend the back knee a little bit, because now that makes it easier to lift the frontal hip bones straight up. This sets your pelvis. And then double check that your front thigh is parallel to the long end of the mat. So what I'm doing is I'm firming Jen's outer hip in and elongating the inner thigh. So this is lifting up there, draw the front ribs. Good. Now, front ribs soften down. Flesh of the bum goes down. As the bum goes down, Jen has full permission to try to straighten her back leg. And my hand is here just to create a brace, and I'm just at that cut region between the bum and the thigh. And now, Jen, taking a long inhale, pouring breath in. Receive the inhale. Yum. Exhale, come into plank. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Meet me on the belly. Inhale, pour the heart through cobra. Exhale, send the legs away from you. Inhale, extend the arms back. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, lengthen your legs, shalabhasana. Exhale, stay here, softening. Inhale, bending the knees. Exhale, clasping the hands. Now inhale, pour breath into the lungs. Exhale, reach the legs back, your thighs can lift. And again, can your inhale get longer? And exhale, slowly control the return of the legs onto the floor as your hands come by the ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog, spreading the collarbones wide. Belly pulls you back, downward facing dog, and get still. Inhale, left leg raises, toes straight down. Exhale, left foot in between the hands, curl the back toes under. So for some of us, it's hard to get this thigh parallel to the long end of the mat, so you might simply step your left foot to the left another inch. I have hips wide for my body, so I have to do that to get the leg in line with the hip bone. From here, she's going to scissor the legs and come on up into her crescent pose. And then we're going to fix it, because without fixing the pelvis and bending the knee, if we don't do that, go ahead and go back to where you were. Can you see how the frontal hip bones go forward? This is a terrible idea. Bending the back knee, lift the frontal hip bones. She's more in those nice stretches of the hip flexors. And now keeping that action going on, send the front ribs down. Send the flesh of the bum down. And as the flesh of the bum draws straight down, she's going to try to straighten her back leg. She's playing with the duality. That's what life is about. We play with dualities. She's really working. She's working hard. This is beautiful. And now we're breathing, and let breath pour in. And exhale. Come into plank. Nice. Making me want to do this. Take an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. And meet me on your belly. So inhale, come into Bhujangasana. And again, I can't emphasize enough, it's not about coming up. Come forward. Your up will happen the more you come forward and the more you let breath pour in. Next inhale, extend the arms all the way towards the wall behind you. Exhale, stay. Inhale, lengthen the legs, coming into Shalabhasana. And when we're in this pose, see if you can get a sense that your shins move down and the thighs lift up. That gets you out of the lower back compression. Now from here, bending the knees, take a hold of thy feetsies. And inner thighs rolling up. Inhale, breath pours into the lungs. Exhale, reach the shins back, lift your thighs up. Inhale. This is about this upper part of the body elongating. Exhale, control the release of your legs. Gently, like teacups, you set them onto the floor, placing the hands by the ribs. Inhale, come into upward facing dog. Exhale, belly pulls you back, downward facing dog, and she gets still. Good. From here, we're going to do crescent again and add on. Inhale, right leg raises, toes straight down. Exhale, right foot in between the hands, curl the back toes under. Step your right foot to the right, just another half a centimeter. Good. Firming both hips, inhale, come into crescent pose. Good. So from here, as she's in the pose, and she might bend her back knee a little bit to reset the pelvis, okay? So keep that happening. If anything, we want the upper body going towards the back leg and the pelvis going towards the front leg. Now take the arms out to the side. Pausing here. Remember in the twist, I asked you to twist at your waistline? We're going to pay attention to that. So first thing, she's going to firm the outer hips. On an exhale, the right waistline pours back. The left waistline wraps forward. Now, if you're normal, and this is happening here, the upper body goes forward towards the front leg. So she's going to pause, move her upper body towards the back leg, setting the flesh of the bum down. With the exhale, simply open through the right collarbone and extend through the right fingers. On the inhale, breath pours in. The crown of the head through the spine gets long. And on the exhale, open. This is nice. Now, many of us will stay. Your hips have to firm. Yes, good job. And now some of us who want, the right hand can come all the way down towards the back leg. And now pressing the leg up into the hand, lengthening through the left arm. I'm going to be back here. Jen, press into my heel. I'm lonely. Push me, push me, push me, push me. Pretend there's a wall back here. Push me. I can take it. Yes. And now she's going to inhale through the whole left side. Press me more. I can take it. Press me more. Each exhale, she's drawing the right leg back. This is a lot of work. If it looks easy, God bless her. She's working like a whole lot. One more breath, girlfriend. Yes. Exhale, come into plank. With control. Keep pressing into me. I'm not going to leave you. Good. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, and come onto the belly. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Be soft about it. You worked a lot in that pose. Exhale, reach through the legs. And now inhale, extend the arms. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, lengthen the legs so much they come off. We don't lift, we lengthen. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, bending the knees. Take a hold of the feet. And now inner thighs rolling toward the ceiling, pivoting the pelvis in towards the floor. Inhale, pour breath. Let breath flow in. As you exhale, extend through the legs. And so, again, I can't emphasize enough, this pose, mistakenly, everyone tries to push into it. Soften into it, and then let it pull your spine long. Let your pose come from the inside out. Don't try to be like someone else. Control the return of the legs onto the floor. I always think of my grandmother's teacups. Hands by the ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Thighs lift and reach back. This is gorgeous. Exhale, pull back, downward dog. And as much she so wants to squirm and take out a gulp and let out a sigh, and she's not going to, because what this does is it increases your power. Inhale, left leg raises, toes straight down. Exhale, left foot in between the hands, curl the back toes under. Okay, so setting up and step your left foot to the left just about a centimeter or so, just a little bit more. Good. And now from here, come on up into crescent pose. So we set crescent pose first, bending the back knee, frontal hip bones rising. Keeping that happen. We're not going to pay attention to the back leg straightening yet. Take the arms out to the side. And now from here, from the crown of the head, through the spine, through the tailbone, we're long. So again, the upper body emphasizes its attention to the back leg, pelvis towards the front leg. And now borrowing from the twist information, the left waistline draws back, the right waistline wraps forward. And then just peek through the corner of your eye, see what your front knee is doing. And it wants to go in. So again, you have to firm the outer hip in, elongating through the inner thigh. It's so hard. Lift up here a little bit more. So upper body goes towards the back leg, pelvis towards the front. This is so hard. Good job. Inhale, spine is long. And now exhale, left collarbone opens and extend through that arm. Inhale, get long, tailbone descends. Exhale, extend. And now, if you want, take the left hand down. If you're feeling too shaky, don't do it right away. Reaching the right arm up. Now imagine there's a wall or there's an annoying gene right behind you. Press your heel into me. I can take it. $20, press me. Okay, $40, I'm right here. Press me. And as you do that, lift through the thigh. Press me more, I believe in you. Lift at the pit of the abdomen. Even more. And now breathe. Reach through your back leg more. I believe you. One more breath. Exhale, beautiful. Hands on either side of the front foot. Slide the front foot back. Take an inhale here. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. And come onto the belly. Good thing we know we're not our thoughts. Inhale, breath pours into the heart. Bhujangasana. Exhale, soften. And around here, if you're getting tired, don't do a back bend. Get out of the way and let the back bend do you. Next inhale, extend the arms all the way back towards the wall behind you. And now next inhale, lengthen the legs so much they come off the floor, coming into Shalabhasana. Again, don't do this. Let it unfold. And now from here, bending the knees, take a hold of the feet. Inner thighs rolling toward the ceiling. And now inhale, breath pours in, thighs lift. Exhale, send the legs away from you. And again, soften. And see if your inhale can get like 20 counts long. And I'm not kidding. Exhale when you're ready. Control the return of the legs. How daintily and carefully can the legs return to the floor and the hands by the ribs? Inhale, come into upward facing dog. Thighs lifting, feet pressing down, arms long. Belly and inner thighs pull you back, downward dog. And we're still. This class will end. Inhale, right leg raises, toes straight down. Exhale, right foot in between the hands. This time, turn your back heel down, turning your back foot flat. So we're setting up for warrior one. Turn the right toes towards the upper corner of the mat. And Jen, step your right foot to the right a couple more inches, a little bit more. So everything we've been doing, it was really easy to get your hips squared to the front. Now we have to work harder. Let's roll that outer thigh in. Rotate your whole leg, Jen, so your toes turn. There it is. So this is hard to do, but we want the inner left thigh rolling toward the ceiling. We want the whole outer left thigh rotating forward. Now, firming the hips. Here's a note that really helped me. Jen, inside your body, and those of you practicing with us, inside your body, go in and make your left leg heavier than your right leg. And standing into the left leg, use that to come up into Virabhadrasana 1. Yeah. The secret to warrior one, the left leg is the heavier leg. And now, same idea. Draw your front leg back, doing that scissoring. Suction cup the left leg forward. And then lift at the pit of the abdomen, lift the frontal hip bones, sending the front ribs down. And now, she's really working at standing. Can you stand so much in your back leg, lengthening through the left side? It's as if this is that crazy crescent pose. And can you sink both sit bones a little bit lower? One more breath. And then exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Let's come right into it, lifting through the side waist. Pause in Chaturanga and meet me on your belly. Good. We're almost done. Inhale, Cobra. So we're moving the rib cage forward so more breath can pour in. And as you exhale, you're purposely sending your bum to the heels. On the next inhale, the arms reach back, more breath can flow in. On an exhale, stay here. On the inhale, use the inhale to lengthen the legs. I think it helps more. And then exhale, stay here. And then bending the knees, take a hold of the feet. And you can exhale as you're setting everything up. And now inhale, pour the breath into the lungs, thighs lifting. On the exhale, reach the legs back. The more the legs reach back, it pulls the arms some, which broadens across the collarbones. That allows more breath to come in. So don't worry about, but my feet should be higher. It's like, how much breath can you take in? And now, with control, which calls upon the core, how carefully can you set your legs down and set your hands? Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, belly pulls you back, downward facing dog. And boy, she wants to sigh out, and she's not gonna. Inhale, left leg raises, so she's keeping her power. Exhale, left foot in between the hands, turn the back heel down. So this is great that we're learning about this. So stepping the left foot to the left a little bit can help. Making sure that your right foot is on almost a 45-degree angle, whatever, to help roll the inner right thigh toward the ceiling. And that really, we want to work when your front knee is bent and getting your hips as squared to the front of the mat as possible. And part of that is drawing that left leg back, moving the outer left hip in. And then again, for all of us practicing with me, and with Jen and I, and for Jen as well, go inside your body and stand into that right leg and let the right leg be the heavier leg. And use that to take you up into the Virabhadrasana 1. And then once we get there, we have to refigure out a little bit more. So we come down a little bit. This is the last of the standing poses, if you need to know that. Draw the left leg back, wrapping the outer right bum forward. And now pressing your front heel down, lift the frontal hip bones. As you soften the front ribs. The arms, soften, are elongating from your sit bones, not from your shoulders. And now let breath pour in. And as you exhale, stand into that back leg and lengthen through that right side. Again, let breath pour in. And as you exhale, stand into that back leg, elongate through the right pinky. This is gorgeous. One more inhale. Can you go a little bit lower with your sit bones? And exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lifting through the shoulder heads, lifting through the side waist as you come into your Chaturanga. And then meet me on your belly. Inhale, Bhujangasana. This is the last of these. Exhale, stay. Inhale, extend the arms back. Spread the collarbones wide. Exhale, stay. Inhale, lengthen the legs so much they come off the floor. Exhale, stay. Bending the knees, take a hold of the feet. This is the last one, so luxuriate in it. Inhale, breath pours into the lungs. Thighs lift some. Exhale, reach the legs back. Now, you don't have to be any further. Sometimes I actually drop a little bit softer and lower. And now really stretch. Can you inhale 25 counts? Exhale as long. One more breath. Inhale 26 counts. Exhale. Return the legs onto the floor. Hands by your side. How carefully can you do that? Okay, we're going to change the vinyasa a little bit. Inhale, come into upward facing dog. Nice and happily. Exhale, using your core, Chaturanga Dandasana. Yeah, Chaturanga. And come onto your belly. Okay, reach the right arm forward. And now roll over onto your back. So you're rolling on your back on your mat. We're almost done. And then you can scooch more comfortably on the mat if you want. Okay, we're going to take this into bridge pose, Setu Bandha. So this is our last bit of the back bend. And then we'll close this in as you give you your time to get on to your day. From bridge, Setu Bandha, I'm just warning us ahead of time. If you'd like to come into what is often called the wheel, Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow, we'll do that from bridge. And so that way everybody can be involved, okay? So feet are as wide as your hips. Arms by your side to start for all of us. Pressing the heels down. On an inhale, lead with the tailbone, hips, and ribs. And so let's all just start in bridge. Take the arms behind you. Roll the in. As you clasp your hands, roll the inner arms up, the outer arms down. This is basically all the bow poses. Dhanurasana is on our belly we were doing. We just flipped you over. So it's the same thing. So some of us stay here. Some of us place the hands on the floor by the ears. And Jen's choosing to do that. And if you're choosing to, make sure your elbows are in line with your wrists. And then pressing the hands and the feet, come onto the top of the head lightly. Elbows in line with the wrists. It's hard to do. And then pressing the hands and the feet down, come on up. Outer arms roll towards the nose if your arms are over the head. Now, everybody, no matter which pose you're doing, inhale. So soften the effort. Roll the inner thighs towards the big toes. That I would like. And now taking a big inhale. Exhale, lengthen through the legs. Huger inhale. Exhale, lengthen through the legs. And now one more breath here. And now as you exhale, come on to the top of the head. And now press the hands and the feet. Lift your head up. And come on down. And now take the legs long onto the floor. Take the arms over your head, thumbs to the floor. So all of this stuff we just did hugely expanded your breathing capacity. Now notice how much you can inhale. Imagine the exhale goes out through the arms and out through the fingers. So this is exploring Udana Vayu, the upward energy, even a little bit of Vyana Vayu. Good. And now, next breath, take the arms out to the side, left and right. And now as you inhale, let the sides of the body spread wide. And as you exhale, imagine your arms could touch the side walls. So now we're exploring Samana Vayu and Vyana Vayu. So the expansion of the capacity as well as how much you can take in and process. And now to get us a little bit more grounded, bring the arms onto the floor by your side. Now let your breath pour in. The energy of the breath travel all the way down to the base. Exhale through the legs, through the feet, out through the fingers. Let the breath travel down, 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 down. And just let the old stuff trickle out through the legs. Good. On our exhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Hands around the shin, draw that thigh close. And so in this, just let the right side of your back spread wide. What I love about this type of a pose is the elongation, higher than where my finger is touching Jen, way up in the inner groin. Elongate through that inner leg, out through the inner heel, through the inner big toe. And that gets a really great stretch in the psoas. And it can actually realign things. for those of us who need that. Gently elongate the right leg onto the floor. Take the arms up over the head. And then exhale, left knee comes into the chest, hands around the shin, draw that thigh close. So first thing is, yes, spread the left side of your back wide. It feels good. And upper inner groin, higher than anyone should be touching you. Elongate through the inner leg. And reach the inner heel and the inner big toe forward. See if your baby toe, this is getting into like real deep, crazy anatomy details. Draw the outer ankle all the way to the outer hip. Do you feel that? I mean, the anatomy details are helpful, but if they get you all cut up and take you out of the experience, then that's not for you. Then throw it away. Good. From here, bring both knees into the chest. Good. Let's take the arms out to the side. And again, let's return to that twisty poo. Knees to the left, you look to the right. And again, just as we did in the beginning, when you twist, can you do it from your waistline? Inhale, knees come center. Exhaling, knees go to the right, you look to the left. Sometimes when we twist, we turn the palms down. I'm going to encourage you different reasons for that. Most of yoga, there isn't so much of a wrong as a why are we doing something. So for right now, I'm going to encourage you to turn the palms up. It gets the blades on your back. It's just a lot easier. Good. Inhale, come center. So now we did some asymmetrical stuff. Now I want to get into one final neutral pose. This whole practice was very asymmetrical, one side then the other. Take both legs up to the sky. So I call this Supta Paschimottanasana. I'm draping a strap across the balls of Jen's feet. This is probably the safest forward fold you could ever do. So if you don't have a strap, then you can reach for a belt in your house. And it goes across the balls of the feet. Let your hands slide down just a little bit more so your shoulders are on your back. Your elbows do not have to be on the floor. Okay, the rules, I call this a game. The rules of the game, your back is flat. So that sacrum, it's that flat part right above your bum, the crack of the bum, sorry. That stays on the floor. So that's the rule of the game. Jen is going to send her sit bones forward. She's going to breathe her back wide and long. Now, while she's doing all that, she has full permission to take her feet all the way over your head. You could even touch the floor over your head. Go for it. Who cares? But her sit bones keep reaching towards me. Her back stays on the floor. Now, I'm being nice. I'm helping her. But now I'm going to come away because I won't be here for her tomorrow. And I want you to get that onto the floor more. So this is a safe way because it prevents us from locking the knees and from jamming from over pulling at the insertion point. And so then the other thing is we'll look at our legs and realize I'm not that far. Close your eyes and just notice what you feel and relax your arms so you're not pulling as more as allowing yourself to experience space. And really feeling your back spread into the floor. So again, please don't let this be an accomplishment. This is just a resetting. And now exhaling, I'm going to take the strap away. And then gently, your hands can be on the thighs to help you. Take the legs long onto the floor. And let your legs come down, toes turning out, arms by your side. Good. And just resting here on the floor. Noticing how much you can inhale. Let's just close. And what I'll do is I'll do a gentle close. And if you'd like to take a longer shavasana, you will do that and we'll just naturally stop. But what I'll suggest is that we inhale 5 counts and exhale 10. Inhale 6 counts and exhale 12. And then inhale 7 counts. Exhale 14. And And just do nothing, no more ujjayi. Let your mind feel all the space you've created. Namaste.